Well, let's get started. We have 32 attendees and Dee Dee Miller and Chuck Caskey. Unfortunately, Joanne Poole will not be able to join us. But I think between us all, we can answer any questions people might have. And good morning again to everybody. We're expecting Russ Boyce at some point, hopefully, to join us as well, but I think we'll just get started. So this came up as a recommendation. We were talking about engagement and NAR in general, and among the officers, and Joanne and some other, and Russ, and we talked about the conference, and a lot of people said, you know, it's pretty intimidating when you look through the program and the amount of sessions and committees and governance and then other education sessions and then the speakers and the general sessions and the expo, and it can be very daunting. And so the idea came up to do something like this, to just walk people through how we do it, and people can ask and answer questions. We do have the opportunity to bring people in if they want to actually speak. So we're happy to do that as well. This is not, this is a freewheeling kind of session. So feel free to put something in the chat, Q&A, or raise your hand. And I think I have the opportunity, if I'm not mistaken, Adrian, can I allow people to actually speak? Can I do that?
Yes, so we'll just have them raise their hand and then we'll allow them to talk.
Okay, so anybody wants to raise your hand and have something to add for the good of the group, that would be great. So I thought I'd start by sharing my screen. I think for those of you out there, some of this may be a little bit fundamental, but it seems to me that maybe if we just start at the beginning, that's not necessarily a bad thing. And so, oh, sorry, I started playing. This is not here's the homepage. So there is obviously a homepage, and this is where I get a lot of information. There's Russ. Hey, Russ. Good morning. So just jump in whenever I misspeak. No. Anything you want to add? Anybody? You're on mute, Russ. Sorry. Want to say hi? Russ, you want to say hi? That's you. Okay. So anyway, if you have, I think everybody is registered, so we can skip that because that's how you got invited to the webinar. I think it's really important at this point to just go over the policies, because if you are going to San Diego, there are policies, obviously. These are general policies, but we also, the safety protocols, very important. If you haven't reviewed NAR's event safety protocols, they're pretty strict. And from what I understand, I was not able to attend Leadership Summit in Chicago this year, but these are very similar. And by all accounts, people felt pretty good about them. They do enforce, well, first of all, when you go to register, when you go to San Diego, when you go to register and pick up your badges, they will make you show your proof of vaccination, and in order to get a wristband, and you will only be able to pick up your registration materials by having the wristband on already. So apparently you go through down before you even get to the registration area, you have to obtain by proving your vaccination status or negative test result within 72 hours in order to get your wristband in the lobby, and only then will you be able to pick up your registration materials. Okay, there will be people on site. There will be a group of people checking mask wearing protocols so indoors, masks are required. And you have to keep the wristband on at all times, of course. So there's their infographic. So just be aware that they are going to be pretty diligent about enforcing this. So hopefully that's going to make people, give people some comfort that these are being enforced. Okay. Maryland does not. So John Young is asking. The answer is no. Maryland, we have about 130 people going. So no, there are no specific Maryland member get-togethers planned. Jen, show you proof of vaccination upload. Yeah, I agree with Allison. Go ahead and bring it anyway. If you uploaded it, they'll probably have it. But I carry mine around. There was a joke the other day. It's just a little bigger than my wallet. And somebody made a joke about it. Apparently, I'm not the only one. It just happens to be just a little bigger than my wallet. And so the top of it's sticking out and it's kind of getting all folded over. I think they would have, made it wallet size, but ours is just a little bit bigger. But anyway, yeah, I would bring it. I would bring it anyway. Okay.
Is there any issue with taking a picture of it and keeping a picture of it?
I don't think so. I think, if I follow this link, for example, and I haven't done this, so I would, so there you have to go. So that's the group. Yeah, I'm not going to do this now. It takes a lot.
Yeah,
But,
we were just in New York City, and you could not get into a restaurant or a bar or a show without proof of vaccination. But what we did is just snapped a picture of it and kept it on our phone.
Okay. Well, Hugh Gordon said he
I did
uploaded it,
this.
but still needed it. Yeah. Go ahead.
So I've done the in-house physicians thing already. And for
Okay.
those who are bringing a guest who might not be registered for the actual conference, but your guest is coming to say the inaugural with you, they need to also upload their information into this in-house physicians because they have to also absolutely get a ban. So even though they may not go into the convention hall, because this question came up this last week. So if they're not attending anything, like my husband's coming, but he is going to be at the inaugural. So I had to upload all of his as well so that he will get a band, even though he's not a registered attendee, but he is attending that event as my guest.
Yeah, I would think so. Okay. Good to know. Okay. And Boyd said you could pre-register by uploading your proof. Okay. Oh, the IHP. Okay. Thanks, Boyd. Okay. So there's that. Let's get rid of that. Okay. So the conference schedule, and this is what we're really here mostly to get people a little bit familiar with, if you're not already, with how to navigate the meetings and then what happens next. So there's a couple ways to do this. The combined schedule is helpful. That has everything in it. And as you can see, every day there's just an enormous amount of meetings and stuff going on. They've also divided them up by education session, governance, which is the committee meetings and the board of directors, et cetera, special events and expo. There are also, you can filter by activity type, affiliate type, or title. They used to be where you could search by your role. So it's a little bit different this year. But for example, I just picked on global, for example. If you want to just pick, I need a new mouse here. So we wanted to just pick global, then if that's what you were interested in. You could obviously just filter by global, and then all the global events would be shown. And if you pick on one that kind of sounds interesting to you, this one happens to have a price, okay? As a ticketed event, then it tells you some of these do require advanced sign up. I have one coming up where it required advanced sign up. It was the one on land use that I had asked to attend, and they said that it was filled up, but I was on a waiting list, something like that. So if it does have advanced sign up, like this one on bias override, and it probably too late, I would say, if there are advanced sign up, I would suggest it could be that they're already filled. But if they are, it's never a bad idea to contact staff and see if there's a wait list on anything that required advanced sign up, whether or not it required or there was payment required, it would still be okay, even if it was filled, to try to get on a wait list. Some of these meetings are closed. A lot of these advisory board meetings are either closed. This one, oh, this is actually different. This is the one I was talking about, planning and zoning. This is by invitation. That's a little different than closed meeting or by invitation only. This one, I tried to weasel an invitation. They said it was closed, but they said they would fit me in. We'll see. I haven't officially heard that I'm in, but apparently I am. So there's a lot of ways to get, and there's a lot of different kinds of meetings. So the way that I organize it, and everybody has their own way of doing it. One thing that they do have is a personal planner. And so the event planner is different this year. There's a new platform. The old event planner was not as robust in some ways, but I actually, in one very small way, I think was actually better, but I'll show you. So when you go, if you are in the conference session and you click on, just click on Women's Council Ambassadors, it's not telling you that was a bad choice. Let's see one where we could actually, let's close meeting. What do I have up? Go to just let's go to the governance schedule. So these would be the committee meetings. Okay. Live on computer. Okay. So let's say I wanted to go to let's say the local education directors, or let's say I want to go to okay. No, it's not telling me anything at all. It's gonna make a liar out of me. Trying to show where you can get from a meeting so you can put it on your personal. That's what I'm trying to do. This is not robust at all. Is there something wrong here? Just doesn't.
Yeah, that's not what it was doing the other day.
That's not, doesn't seem right.
it.
Something's going on.
I just tried the app, Chuck, because I thought we'd also be talking about
we
that
will,
a little.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it just said, this has been updated. You now need to re-log in again.
Oh,
and now my
yeah.
password doesn't work. So unfortunately, I think whatever system they've switched to is a little glitchy.
Oh, nice.
Are you talking about the planner, Dee Dee? The planner for the conference?
Just
Yeah, so I was just
the
trying to
actual conference
demonstrate
app.
how to add something to your planner.
Mhm.
And because here's mine, I'm trying to get, come on, Chuck, you can do this.
I know
Here's
in the
my
comments,
planner.
Boyd mentioned
So
it,
I'm
and
just
it's
saying, yeah, but
something,
I'm
yeah.
just saying, here's my planner. So I created, this is my planner. When you go to these sessions, it's I could have sworn I was logged in. It'll say add to your planner. And so you log in and you create your planner. So you can see this is my planner. And I haven't added it to the app yet. Dee Dee, I'm going to let you do that because I haven't done the app yet. So,
Well, I
well,
have to figure out how to get logged in again because it's not
Okay.
taking my password I set up.
Okay.
Yeah. it
So,
says
but
standby.
anyway, this is the planner that I started, and it's very helpful. You click a session, and it just adds it to your this calendar, this, and then apparently it's going to be in the app. And then you can download it, print it, email it to everybody, whatever, however else you want to do. It says add new. I'm not going to touch that yet. The other thing you can do is, which is good, is to have your personal activities. So if you have a couple things that are not on the schedule that you are doing. So we have an executive committee dinner for a small group of people. And then we have a specific briefing for our NAR directors on Sunday prior to the director and delegate body meeting on Monday. So on Sunday, before the regional caucuses, we have director briefing. So these are the personal activities that I added to the calendar. Okay. The only downside to this is in the old version of the meeting planner, if I put an event in on Friday, the 12th at 6:45, it would show up on Friday at 6:45, adjacent to the other meetings. So I could see it all in one place. My only kind of beef I have with the new setup is that the personal activities are down here separate. They're not incorporated. So Sunday's briefing at 1 o'clock, I mean, it would conflict with the eligible candidates forum, but it would still be there. So I would know on Sunday I have all this. Now I have to look in two places to make sure I'm not missing a personal activity. So I'm a little bit curious as to why the new platform doesn't incorporate the personal activities into the rest of the activities in the planner. That's just a relatively minor detail, but something that I just noticed. And
and a lot of it can be done. I'm just sitting here playing with the app. I think that you can do pretty much, I haven't seen anything I can't do yet. I'll put it that way with the app that we're doing, that like what you're doing there. So it just depends on the person. I mean, I think if you're more inclined to work with apps and that's something you're comfortable with, you probably can upload your whole schedule there. But I do it both ways. I'm kind of old school. I like to have the planner, like Boyd mentioned earlier. I've been using the planner for years. And then what happens is when you get the app updated, then you can add the planner to your app so you can have it right there.
Okay, yeah, I have not downloaded the app yet. But that's what the planner looks like. I haven't tried this, so, oh, that's why, because I'm not signed in. That could be part of a problem. All right, let me try this again. I don't know why it's not letting me. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna close this now. I'm gonna close that, go back here. I'm gonna start over. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna log out of that, go back to.
That's my philosophy. When in doubt,
Yeah, well, it's been open for days, and so it probably just kicked me out. So if I go back in and start over, and should let me log in with my normal NAR login.
That's funny because I finally just got the app to log me back in.
Yeah, this is what
Okay.
it looks like. I
So
don't know if
maybe
you guys
they
can
were,
see this or
maybe
not,
they
but
were messing with it. Yeah, I don't really know
this is, yeah,
what that looked like.
kind of
So
gives you an idea so you can put all your information in there.
yeah, actually, if I should, let me start it. Oh, sorry, folks. I thought that I was doing this right. Oh, see, I'm not even logged into NAR. No wonder. That's what happens when you're not. Okay, now I'm in.
Oh, I've done it a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, Chuck, while you're doing that, there were a couple
Yeah,
other
go
questions in
ahead.
the
Yeah,
chat
go
box
ahead. Go
that
ahead.
we'll answer maybe.
Yeah. Sure.
And something I found, well, that I asked the other day and Cindy just asked, is there any way, and you were going to check if everybody was comfortable or not comfortable about getting a list of attendees from Maryland. And if you can get yourself into the app, The app has every attendee, but unfortunately the app, you would think the app would say, oh, narrow it by your state. And there's not an option to narrow by the state. So it's a massive search of thousands of people, obviously, within the app. So certainly if you're looking for someone in particular, you can look them up on the app as an attendee and see if they're there. But do we make any other determination about releasing a list or?
We have not, and I'm inclined at this point to look for other ways to do it, because we don't have permission from everybody who has registered to
Right.
distribute their names. So I'm a little hesitant to do that at this point. Okay, so here's event planner. Okay. But I did all that. So this is how, if you haven't done it, this is how you'd start. Use the same email. Okay, if you found it, just log in here. So hopefully it'll remember me. No, it's not remembering me. Oh, great.
And while Chuck's doing that, Allison, thank you. She posted in here about the app. So if you go into your app store and you put in NAR annual, it will come up and it's that logo. It's the Rise and Shine. So don't download an older version from a different conference. But thank you, Allison. That is what that is.
Okay. So what happened to it? It went away. Oh, because I had two things open. All right.
And then someone's asking about attending WCR portions and how is that the combined schedule for the conferences? The easiest way, I think, for those things is to actually go into the session or the area where it's talking about combined schedule, and then search just the initials WCR in the search box. Where it gives you those options, and then like search by events or affiliate, you can do affiliate and it actually says WCR.
Right, so here's the
and
session, right,
actually
so if you
give
go
it
to
to you.
right, so if you go to the conference schedule, combined schedule, down to the filters, choose WCR, then there's all the WCR events.
And thank you, Anita, because she's actually answered that question now as well.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. It's making me create a new profile. The sign in, oh yeah, the sign in for the planner isn't the sign up for the website, but it said it was. Yeah. So I'm glad we're having this. And I forgot what my sign in for the planner is, so I'm going to have to go back and find that. So thank you.
And Anita just made a really good suggestion, and Allison chimed in as well, because, and this is what I do personally too. I go down the entire thing and I literally add to my planner every single, whether it conflicts or not. Like I add every single thing that I remotely think I might want to go to, because, you know, you might be in one place and you can pop in quickly. But I add it all in there, even if it overlaps, making sure that I have highlighted the ones that are mandatory for me to be in attendance. But add as much as you can that looks interesting. And then you can go back and you can delete and take things off of your schedule.
Yeah, that's what I do. It's so much nicer because you at least you have everything that you might want to see. And sometimes something will free up and one meeting might free up or whatever, you can still get into some of the others.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So my planner, I forgot my login for my planner. So anyway, it was up. No, it's not. So anyway, we'll just stick here for now. Okay. Any other questions on any of that? Special events, there are several, obviously. And Allison is volunteered to answer any tech questions that you have. So thank you, Allison. So these are the special events. They're obviously anybody, the lead course, that's a great course. I know several people are taking it.
I took the lead course in one of the modules of it anyway, in Chicago. It was very, very interesting. Definitely worth the time. I actually moderated it, but was able to take it at the same time, but really good course.
This is a new event, the opening reception at Petco Park. That's also not on here. There's a Realtor Relief Fund reception going on at the same time as the opening reception at the ballpark. The Padres collapsed, so they've been long gone. They're obviously not in the postseason. Well, I guess the World Series will be way over by then. Okay, so let's see. Any other questions about the schedule, the protocols, the timing? The only thing I would say when we go to governance, if there are local board presidents out there, hopefully you have been certified. If you are the delegate, you've been certified. The way this is going to go, obviously, there's a very, very large set of votes happening on Monday. The board of directors meeting, they'll be voting on the governance changes. If you have not become familiar with what's going on, the governance PAG, can search for it from the NAR website. And that will be voted on by both the board of directors, but more importantly, the delegate body. And the delegate body is made up of local board presidents voting their membership. And the actual, one of the things the delegate body will be voting on is to eliminate the delegate body from the NAR Constitution. So the very, very significant change to NAR governance involves eliminating the delegate body, giving the board of directors some of that responsibility. And within the bylaws, the board of directors will be voting on separate provisions of the bylaws to delegate to the executive committee a lot of day-to-day decision-making that is currently resides in the board of directors. So it's a very, very significant package of governance changes that will be voted on Monday, the 15th. And if you have not looked at the PAG report, I would highly recommend you do that, so you have some familiarity with what NAR governance could look like after Monday, the 15th.
I would recommend highly that you read the PAG report before we get to our meeting, our pre-meeting for the directors, because it's long and it's not going to be something you want to sit there and try to get through.
Yeah, if you are an NAR director, and there are a couple of them on the call, or if you are a local AE and a couple of them on the call, that you have certified your delegate. If you haven't, please do that as soon as possible.
Hey, Chuck, while we're on here with this group, can you go ahead and touch on, like, we have our NAR directors versus who's in the actual delegate body, because I think that's become confusing. And I know you just kind of went through it, but
I kind of went through it
actually
fast,
going to be at the Sunday meeting?
Okay.
Who is to be at that Sunday meeting?
The Sunday meeting is for the current NAR directors. And so there are people who are involved now in being designated as an NAR director. That is different than being the delegate. So there is some confusion about who is going to the meeting and who isn't. So that right now, we've only invited the NAR directors. Now, the NAR directors from the large boards, the 4 largest boards, those presidents are already, by virtue of being designated by their local board as a large board director, they will be at the meeting on Sunday. I could look at what other local presidents are going to San Diego, and because that's going to be the significant topic of conversation, maybe we should invite them also to the briefing, assuming we have room. We've got to check with April to see what the capacity of the room is. So if you are a local board president and you have been certified as your delegate and you are not an NAR director, you're going to be in San Diego, you will hear from us and we will invite you to the meeting. Thank you for that. And I have a list.
That webinar is good to review, besides just reading it.
And-
The webinar
and-
that you just did, the most recent one.
So only the most recent one. Hopefully they took all the other ones down. But the documents on the website are the most recent up-to-date documents. The webinar, make sure it's the most recent webinar. We asked them to take down all the other stuff because it was bad and, well, not bad, it was outdated information. So make sure that you're only dealing and watching, if you watch the webinar, it's only an hour. And the documents, I think the PAG report is 30 some pages and there are charts. Because what very significantly for those of you from smaller boards, there will be NAR director spots and entitlements for smaller boards. Because right now you have to have over 2,000 members to have a director on NAR's board of director. There will, in fact, if assuming all of this passes on the 15th, beginning with next, I think it's the year after. Don't quote me on the timing of all of this.
24.
23 and 24, yeah.
24, I believe.
24, okay. That there will be representation by small and mid-sized boards with, in other words, with fewer than 2,000 members.
Mhm.
We have a lot of work to do in terms of putting the processes in place for choosing those directors. Because right now what we know is that states are going to be responsible for determining the process for appointing or designating or identifying, if you will, the local board, the smaller local board NAR directors. So even though they're coming from the local boards, it's basically going to be a state association process. And of course, we will work with our locals to develop that process. Okay. Let's see. I have all those questions answered. Dee Dee, Russ, what else you guys have?
I think that you've covered a lot of it. Just getting familiar with the paperwork, I think, is the most important thing, getting on there and really just kind of going through like what we've been doing today. I think what Dee Dee said is kind of important, because one of the things that I've always, that I always think it's a good idea is to put everything in your schedule you can think of, because sometimes things move around a little bit and you might find yourself able to go to a meeting that you may not have otherwise thought you could attend. But and the other thing too is any of the open committee meetings that you as an individual may have interest in joining in the future, that you haven't done it yet. If you're interested in that, go to those meetings and just sit in the back and watch, because that's how you really get your information, and you can determine then if it's something that you really want to do. But when you find yourself being drawn to some of those committee meetings, that's the best way to do your homework and your due diligence, because you can really sit in there and see, okay, is this for me? But I strongly recommend you do that to anything that's not closed.
Yeah, that's a good point, because one of Craig's initiatives for this year is to increase the level of engagement by Maryland members at NAR. And so one of the things that we will be stressing especially is getting Maryland realtors engaged and involved at NAR committees especially. And so for next year, the committee assignments are already set. So you should have received just last week your assignments, and hopefully everybody who wanted something got something and accepted those appointments. But for next year, when that opens up, it's easy to look around and say, hey, same thing with a state or local committee. This is what I'm interested in. Assuming it's not closed, just go grab the material on the back of the table, the agenda, the handouts and all that, and see what the committee does. And ultimately, if you are interested in serving on that committee, then go up and introduce yourself to the chair, the vice chair, and especially the staff, and talk to any other members who you see that you might know who are already on that committee, just to see what it's been like to serve on that committee. So that's a very good point, Russ. Thank you. And I do that a lot. So I sit in meetings, committees I'm not a part of, but I like to see what they're up to. So just sit in the back, like you said, you end up with a lot of paper at the end because they still do put a lot of stuff on the back.
Take notes because you're going to have to remind yourself.
It's not all virtual and paperless. So I end up with a lot of paper at the end of the day, but that's a good point.
Yeah, and Chuck, one other thing too, and this always seems to happen. Hopefully everyone has made their flight plans accordingly who is voting in that delegate body meeting, because I've seen in many other years that people suddenly leave not realizing. Now we haven't had a delegate body vote in what, 6 or so years.
Yeah.
But I've seen it happen, and then suddenly someone's not registered in your place. So just think about that if you're one of those folks, and just plan for that on Monday to make sure that you're not backing up against a flight leaving and the vote has not happened yet, because I suspect there'll be some debate, obviously, during the discussions for that. And then the other thing that I find helpful, and I mean, I am on national committees, but and being president for this cycle through this particular meeting, is making sure that you're in the hub and you have your hub profile up to date with what's going on, because there will be updates from committee meetings during the week to the executive meeting before the board meeting starts. And if you're one of those NAR directors, then even though we're going to have a meeting, we're going to discuss the majority of those updates. We've seen overnight from even Sunday to Monday, certain things get changed in that total board packet. So I think it's good to, if you're in that community, make sure that you're signed in to that portion where you're getting that information coming from the hub as well, because the updates will be posted there also. So then you're not fumbling around on realtor.org looking for the updates. They're actually in your community inside the hub. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and the local presidents, I've been getting regular notifications from NAR legal department that messages recently are being regularly posted to the state, the local president's hub about the delegate certification process and about the voting process, whether you're live or virtual. So all local presidents and AEs hopefully should be checking to make sure that their president is in fact getting those emails and messages and have received those and are comfortable with what they're going to be voting on. I can tell you right now, we have 11 of our local boards have certified their delegate and 5 have not. And I will be reaching out to the 5 local boards who have yet to certify their delegate to make sure that that gets done, hopefully this week sometime.
Do they have to put in for a substitute delegate if they're?
They are allowed to, but no, it when you go, it automatically populates with your current president.
Okay.
Well, the person they have on record and file as being the president. And if you want to change it to somebody else, you can do that. But the default is the current president. Okay. Yeah, and if you are attending, no matter when the board of directors ends, the delegate body meeting starts at 1. And so, and again, if this passes, this could be the last one. And now I can tell you, nobody I know will miss delegate body meetings, because all they do right now is vote on changes to the Code of Ethics and the Constitution. Excuse me. So as Dee mentioned, the last time the delegate body met was in Boston. So it's more like 4 years ago, I think. It was for the adoption of the Code of Ethics provision regarding hate speech. That was the last time the delegate body met. And so the substantial discussion, though, occurred at the board of directors meeting. And so by the time it got to the delegate body, it was pretty much wrung out. So yeah, so flight information is coming out. Yeah, I saw American canceled a lot of flights yesterday. So yeah.
And Hugh just made a good point that the list inside of the app of attendees is not very robust because he can't find himself. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you have to go into your settings inside the app in your profile, create your profile, and then click a button that says make my profile public. Not
Yes,
everybody
I
wants
do.
you to know that they're there. So
Okay.
that is the only way that you will be able to be found by other people, you know, for networking purposes. Because if this app works like the old app, there was actually ways to put like tag words and interest
Mhm.
into your, and I'm honestly, admittedly, I have not done that yet. I've only done the basics, but admittedly put those in what your interests are, and it actually would filter through and find other members who also had similar interests for you for networking purposes.
Oh,
So I think
okay.
that's the answer to that question, you.
Yeah, I hope the app work. The last few years, I found the app to be not as helpful as it could have been. And I ended up carrying that piece of paper around with me with my schedule on it. So hopefully it's gonna work. So,
Those of us of a certain age still get attached to that paper. I can't help it myself.
I use both. I use
Yeah.
both.
I do both. I try
Yeah.
to do both too. Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
I'm
so
forcing myself. Yeah.
good. Daphne says the app seems to be user-friendly this year, so that's good to know. Yeah, I know, Allison. I know you use a paper planner. I know. So you're the tech person and the paper person. Man, Allison does it all. That's good to
Allison does. She's got that old school speak.
know.
Hey, and when in doubt, if you're
What
brand
else? Yeah.
new, headed to the conference this year and you've never been there, you know, look at the list of participants over here on the side and
Yeah.
us and
Mhm,
you know,
mhm.
reach out. And I mean, I used to tag along with whoever I could tag along with and say, well, where are you going? Well, what are you doing? Well, why do I need to be there? Well,
Mhm,
maybe I'll try
mhm.
this. Because a lot of times that's, you know, half of your learning curve is just tagging along with somebody having been there numerous times before and kind of pointing you in the right direction as well.
Yeah, please reach out. Again, it's daunting. And if you've never been, and I don't know, there's some names here with whom I am not 100% familiar. So, you know, please reach out. And if you have never been, it can, again, it can be overwhelming. And we haven't even talked about the expo yet. Talk about if you've never been
Mhm.
to NAR's expo, and I don't know how big it's going to be. I really don't. But there's a reason that these conventions, there's only 6 or 7 cities in the entire country that, or maybe more, but it's a fairly small universe of cities that can handle the amount of attendees. And so that's why we are at these cities that handle really big conventions, you know, Orlando and Vegas and San Francisco and San Diego, et cetera, Boston and whatnot, because it's big. And the expo hall, it's enormous. I mean, I don't know, the first time I went into that expo hall 15 some years ago, it was, I don't want to say scary, but it takes your breath away if you've never seen anything like it. I mean, the technology, the amount of people in there, these cavernous, you know, expo halls filled to the brim with vendors. And, you know, it's called adult trick or treat, you know, and speaking, we just had Halloween. So here we go. You go around and you just pick up so much swag. You got to bring an empty suitcase with you just to be able to bring some of the amount of stuff home with you that you're going to pick up. And enter all the, if you enter the, I will say, just be careful. If you enter, you want to bring a lot of business cards. If you've never been, bring a couple hundred business cards, because they're almost every vendor has some kind of a giveaway, and you drop your card in, and you know, we've had people win pretty good stuff over the years. I think I've won a couple of things, you know, nothing I can drive, but apparently they're giving away a Tesla this year, so you just never know. And then take advantage of talking to people, but you're going to get, if you drop your business card in, you know, expect to be on email lists after that. So if you want to win, you obviously drop your business card in the bowl and you might win, but you also will definitely be contacted by them because they're there to sell you stuff. And they're going to be out there talking to you, and they'll call you by name, you know, they'll look down at your badge, and they'll act like they're your long lost friend. But you can learn stuff and actually, make contacts and you see products and stuff that you don't, right? I mean, there's some good stuff maybe you haven't thought about before. There's that, closing gifts. They're always popular. The closing gift booths, people buying stuff. So
if you guys haven't noticed, I'm the one kind of monitoring the chat and you're cracking me up. Like,
yeah,
you
I
guys-
know. I know. I am
So,
too.
Melanie,
yes,
you
Kathy,
can
give
hang
me
with
some
me
business
anytime you
cards.
wish, and that's fine. So Melanie will be attendee buddies, conference attendee buddies. So Kathy McFadden is asking, will the Region 3 meeting be virtual? And to my knowledge, they're not doing those hybrid,
Right, I
correct?
don't think they are. That's right, because
Oh,
and only a handful of the larger committee meetings are. And so I guess what happened was and one can understand this, they have a budget. I mean, and the technology budget, they are busting it anyway, as many of us are. And so they are actually live streaming as many meetings as they can, but nobody has that kind of money or equipment, to be honest with you, to do it all. They're just too much, and it would cost too much. So the big meetings are going to be live streaming. Certain of them are, but the caucuses are not. They just don't have the budget. But if and if you're going to be there Monday, if you've never been to a board of directors meeting, I have to tell you, that's the other thing. When I started going to these meetings, whenever that was, 15, 16 years ago, I was impressed. When you walk into that room, when you look at the production value, NAR does a very good job of producing these meetings. And so it's impressive to see that many people actually doing work, and the way the cameras and the lighting and the sound and all of that stuff, the production value is very good. So
I think this year we're probably going to see some sort of a record because, people have been waiting and anticipating this conference. So it looks like it could be a record setter.
Yeah, and I don't know how many people are registered, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people are going to attend virtually with that when they can. I mean, normally it's up to 25,000.
Mm-hmm.
So I doubt, to be honest with you, I don't think they're going to get 25,000. I mean, I know last time we were Las Vegas, I think, Boston, those were over 20,000, up to 25,000. Orlando, I think. But yeah, I think I saw that too, and need about 10. Yeah, that's what I saw. So it's not going to be as big as other ones, but yeah, 12 to 15, yeah, something like that, as Boyd says. And yeah, Home Snap is having Keith Urban. So there's a lot of stuff that's not on there. That's the other thing. Dee Dee and Russ, maybe you can also talk about other affiliate and kind of like at Maryland Realtors Conference, stuff that we don't put on, but that other companies, I know Bright has some things, I know Home Snap, and a lot of companies have. So once you're registered, you start getting stuff in the mail. I know I get a postcard or two every day. Hey, visit at us at booth 649. So you'll get those, and you'll also get invitations to other events that are not NAR events. So you can pick and choose, like that one. Keith Urban, yeah, of course it's full, but it's outdoors. I heard it was like on the street, so I'm not sure. There may be ways around that.
It's a block party inside of the Gaslamp District.
Yeah, so it was invitation only, but I don't know if it's outside. Maybe you can like stand just outside the fence and hear some of it. So I'm not really 100% about that. So.
Yeah, and just some other reminders, and you were talking about how big the convention center is and walking, and depending on where your hotel is, and someone made a good point. I think it actually might have been Boyd. It's nice to look cute, ladies, with your shoes, but there's a lot of walking.
Skechers, everyone, Skechers.
Yeah, as goofy as that
shoes,
sounds, I think I've learned over the years to bring some Epsom salt and soak my feet at night, because my feet get very tired, even wearing comfortable shoes. They do. So that's kind of a silly thing, but it is something that, you know, first time you want to look professional and, you know, going around to these meetings, but high heel shoes, ladies. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting older and I don't like to wear my high heel shoes anymore.
And you see a lot of people with a lot of women with dresses and tennis shoes, and men with you know, blazers and tennis shoes. So it's practical.
Yeah, unless you're Carol McClure. I see you,
Right.
Carol. Don't
Also
hide.
true.
Carol will
Only
not-
Carol.
Carol would be caught, not be caught dead with tennis shoes on. I can tell you that, right, Carol?
Maybe flats. And then Erica actually suggested perhaps we could just create a Maryland NAR conference ambassador group. And she would be willing to be put on such a list to be helpful. You know, maybe 3 or 4 people that can just be on a text chain to say, hey, I'm confused, I'm lost, I'm whatever. I mean, I'm willing to let people reach out to me and do that as well.
Oh, me too. Absolutely. Yeah. Figure out a
I
way
think,
to do
I
that.
mean, if you could, is there any way that we could send out a email to the attendees, and, you know, you can put us in there as contacts or whomever they want, but put the cell phones in there
Mhm.
so that people can reach out to us if they want to text or call or whatever.
Okay.
And, you know, we can help them in any way we can. But I think if there's a list and everybody gets it, then that would be, you know, very helpful.
Okay.
And that way, if you're not comfortable sharing the list of the actual attendees have an avenue
Yeah,
to
that
get
might be
to
the way
us
to-
if they
yeah.
need our assistance, and we're looking to help people out.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then Anita said, because we're in webinar mode, that they can't see all
Yeah.
the participants on the call. I didn't realize that. I'm sorry.
You can't see they can't see attendees.
Yeah, that's what she said, unless it's just not, I don't
Yeah.
know.
The
Is that Adrian,
participants?
is that?
Only we can see the participants.
Yes.
I
I
thought
didn't
they
think so.
could, but I guess that, yeah.
When you click on participants, you're not able to see attendees and panelists. I thought you could.
Jen says no.
No, you
Oh,
can.
wait,
they
somebody
can-
else says I can see who's commenting in the chat, but nobody
Right.
can.
Yeah,
see.
you
They
can
I
can't
think we can see
attendees.
who's, we can
Oh,
see
I'm-
who's,
That
we
button
can
isn't
see who's
active. Oh,
participating and
Yeah,
They
we
can
can
all see
send the
us, but-
attendee list out after if you want, Chuck, or something like that.
yeah, for what it's worth, I mean, yeah, if that's something you're interested in, sure. It's like now there's 49 attendees, but there's over 130 of us registered, so there's just a subset of the people registered. Okay. Any other questions, comments? I hope that was somewhat helpful with a little bit confusing, but I also had some technology issues, but I think we covered everything that I wanted to.
I think I'm saying sometimes when we're off script and we're just, you know, doing it, it comes across a little bit better, and, you know, people get more information out of it sometimes because we're kind of reminding ourselves. I got a list here of things to remember to say, but we're kind of reminding ourselves of what we're doing at the same time. And I think that one of the biggest takeaways, there's lots of them, but one of the biggest takeaways is to get your list together in your about what you're going to be doing and whether all the classes you're going to be attending. Make sure you have it in your guide and make sure you have it in your app.
Oh, we have a first-time attendee in the chat.
Yeah, John, I saw
Hey.
that. Yeah,
Woo-hoo.
good. Yeah, please reach out again. Don't feel alone because, like I said, there'll be 10,000 people there, but sometimes we even around 10,000 other people, you can still feel alone. Trust me, my first few times there. So get a buddy. Buddies help.
Yeah, feel free to reach out to
take
us.
advantage, yeah, and learn, yeah, and explore the city. You know, take some time for yourself as well, because you know it's a great opportunity to see a new place if you've never been, or revisit a place that you like. So please have some good time. And Robin,
We have
some
lots of first-timers chiming
That's
in
great.
now.
Oh,
All
good.
right.
Good to
Nice.
know.
Guys, reach out because we're there. We'll help you.
Yeah.
If you don't have to be somewhere, or there's not a committee that you're interested in, that you want to shadow or look at the expo. San Diego is one of the most beautiful cities in the country. So
yeah,
make sure you get a chance to see a little bit of it.
Yeah. And we'll get, follow up with an email to the attendees, all the attendees, and give them, I'll give you my cell phone. I'm fine with that. And
I'm fine with
Russ,
it too.
Dee Dee, okay, okay,
Mhm.
great. And
Everybody
just
has
be
mine.
able to text us or email me anytime, call me anytime. Okay. I think that's it. Everybody seems to be
Yeah, we
Kinda
have lots of first
signing
timers.
off. Good,
Yeah, good deal.
good. Well, I'm
That's
glad we
great.
did
Eric,
this.
I'll be there on the 8th.
I forget whose idea, Dee Dee, was this your idea? We're gonna
I
say
have
it
no
was
idea.
Dee Dee and or Russ and or Joanne had this idea. So I'm glad we did this. And then we'll do it again in May, I think.
Oh, I think it's definitely
Conference,
helpful in May.
because There's a lot of logistics to go over for the May con.
Mhm.
The biggie in
Conference as
May, or the advantage we may have in May is we've had some things at National Harbor already. So maybe we'll be a
Right,
little
yeah,
better
actually, that's right.
navigating
I forgot.
National
Oh my
Harbor.
gosh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Once we
that's
figure
true.
out how they're gonna get us over to Capitol Hill,
True.
that'll be fun. We take the water taxis over, I guess. I'm not really sure.
Oh, yeah, lots of options.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you all for your time, and we hope that was helpful. If we missed anything or you want any additional information, please reach out to any of us and we'll be happy to help. Call, email, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you may still have. With that, please be safe, everybody. Safe travels. Watch out, check your airline schedules. If it's not Southwest, it's American. 600 flights this weekend were canceled. So there's a lot of uncertainty out there. So give yourself extra time and be kind. People's
Yeah.
nerves get frazzled. So be safe travel and we'll see you out there. And we'll see
We're
you
here
all
for you if you need us.
Yeah. Take care, everybody. See you
Bye.
there. Bye-bye.